After a week away, the 1UP Superstar Series returns in full force to Las Vegas Motor Speedway for race number 5 of 30 in 2024, and no better place to see a race than out here in Las Vegas. The beautiful Las Vegas Motor Speedway, 1.5 miles of lightning fast racetrack that are sure to provide a lot of intense racing for all 42 drivers involved in today's race. And alongside me to bring you all the action once again is James Ellison for today's 81 lap event. And this is going to be a bit of an interesting one. We've got a mixture of high-speed racing and quick thinking strategy to deal with in this race. We're guaranteed to have at least 2 stops in this race, so a lot of opportunities for things to go right and even more for things to go wrong.
Absolutely. When things go right, it's a great day. When things go wrong, well, we see just how frustrating it can be. But I feel like things are going to turn out real well for the right people. It's going to work out the way it's meant to today, which, not everybody's going to be happy with it, but, well, the product, I believe, is going to be a good result for this race.
For sure. We've got 42 drivers intent on making this race a good one, including 2 making their series debuts in today's race here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. As we can bring you now the full starting lineup for today's 81-lap race. It's a Robbers Racing front row lockout. J.D. Martin takes pole position, and boy does he need one after a struggling start to this season. Over on the Superstar side, he's got Miles Mashburn for company on the front row. Devin Fair, looking for his first win in his title defense season, lines up third. Zach Rogers and Lane Sanders complete the top 5. But we've got some big surprises in the top 10. Chris Lattimore's up here, Liam Nolan, James Silverfox are all up here, but my focus is on the 2 drivers making their first career starts in the 1UP Superstar Series. You got Elijah Ironhouse driving the Crossroads Racing number 1, he starts 19th, and Ryan Arnold, who missed the show at Daytona, making up for it here in the Revolution Racing 26, he starts 21st. These 2 are standouts in the Nitro National Series, but this series is a whole nother animal to try and control for a much longer race distance.
Oh, absolutely, and you talk about both Elijah and Ryan. They're in. I don't get to compete up side by side with them that often right now with the way my season has started down in Nitro National, but they're really good, and that's one big reason why I called upon Team Duke to borrow Elijah for the 1 with the unexpected departure of Justin Henley, but. We'll power forward, and I'm looking forward to seeing how both of them do in this race.
So with that being said, we have 42 drivers ready to take on Las Vegas, 2 newcomers ready to stake their claim. This is the 1UP Superstar Series from Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and the green flag is mere moments away from getting this great race underway. Getting set for 81 laps here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. J.D. Martin and Miles Mashburn on the front row. Can Robbers Racing convert into a win? Let's find out. Green flag in the air. We're underway at Vegas. We expect some pretty high speeds here going into the first turn. And Devin Fair thinking about making it pretty wide, but tucks back in for the moment.
It's a wise decision. No need to put the pressure on too soon, especially with 3 wide. And right now, Martin wanting to lead that first lap, but I think the defending champ might have it. Although he's getting help from the fast.
Robbers Racing power their way to the front. It is Martin and Mashburn, nose to tail, coming across the stripe to complete the first lap. And Martin leads it comfortably at the bonus point, and he needs bonus points badly to establish himself at the front into the points battle, because this is the final race where we're using the owner's points from 2023 to set the field. Next time out at Silverstone, we're going to be using this year's points, and as they run right now, Martin out of the top 30.
Yeah, it's been a rough go for him. I think that a top 5, top 10 would certainly be big, but a big help, but a win would definitely be even better. And right now, it's way too early to predict where he's going to finish, but right now, he's where he wants to be.
And he's got the exact person he wants behind him, right behind him in Miles Mashburn. I expect the 72 to be a team player today, trying to help the 66 get as many points as possible. 72 is not doing too bad in the points, so I expect this race to be all about getting the 66 in as good a position as possible, lead as many laps as he can, maybe come away with a win. But I would expect the rest of the top 6 to be contenders as well, because they're starting to get single file up at the front for the entire top dozen.
Yeah, that's the way it goes sometimes when we get a quick look here at Zach Rogers. A good qualifying effort for him. He's hanging in there in 5th after getting passed on the start by Sanders.
Highest qualifying rookie in the field, Zach Rogers, and he's doing a good job. He missed the Daytona 500, of course, but he's made every race since and has vaulted himself into the top 30 in owners' points, and that is a very good position for him to be in going to Silverstone in a few weeks. But up at the front, Lane Sanders doing whatever he can to try and make a run towards Devon Thayer. But Miles Mashburn's playing a good defensive game right now. Oh, and Sanders almost made contact with the 51 going into turn 1. That could have been disastrous, but they keep it straight.
Yeah, it almost looked like fair check up just the tiniest bit with Mashburn pulling the defensive move there. But like you said, they gather together, they keep it straight, and they get to live to fight another lap.
And here comes Sanders trying to stick his nose down the inside of the 51, trying to make something happen in this race, which has been fairly calm at the moment. Sanders trying to get a nose out on Fair, trying to make a move on the defending series champion, but nothing doing on that occasion. Meanwhile, Liam Noland made a pass on Zach Rogers to move up into the top 5, and Rogers starting to back up a bit. He's been passed by Chris Lattimore as well, backing himself up into this battle with James Silverfox in the 9.
Yeah, you got Silverfox there, you got Echo Evans Ross, who had a great qualifying effort. We're hanging in there. That too keeps falling too far. They'll start getting passed by people who normally are up at the front, and they're trying to make their way up here.
And this is a race that I think Motor Dash Racing have been looking forward to for a very long time. As soon as they saw they were qualifying up in the top 10, this 53 team has had a rough go of it this season, missed the Daytona 500, has made every race since, had a DNF, of course, to go along with their troubles at Auto Club. But so far, so good for the 53. They're running top 5, and this is a run they have needed for a very long time.
Yeah, it's really big to see this kind of run. I mean, her teammates have been doing really well. This is big, and she goes by Joshua Michaels, who's been having a really good start to this season.
Yeah, he's the highest placed Robbers Racing car in the points is Joshua Michaels, and this is the last race he has to worry about go home for quite some time. Now he's in a high enough position to be locked in for Silverstone, and that is a big deal for Joshua Michaels and for Robbers Racing as a whole. What you see now, the field's starting to get single file up at the front. Vargas now trying to take a peek on the inside of Michaels, trying to go for a spot in the top 10. He gets it by 1/1000th of a second. Christian Vargas got Joshua Michaels to get that spot in the top 10. If that would have raced for the checkered flag, that would have been monumental.
Yeah, that's honestly, we've been seeing Vargas and Michaels side by side a few times this season already, which, I think that's something that Michaels can be proud of, to be able to go toe-to-toe with a former champion like that.
Looking now at Ryan Griffin making his second start of the season for Fingai Saitomi Motorsports, running just in front of his teammate Dillon Young. This is for a spot in the top 15. And here are our two superstar debutants just inside the top 20. Elijah Ironhouse running right where he started in 19th, just ahead of Ryan Arnold, who's moved up a place to run in the 20th position. These two have got good futures in one-up competition if they can keep these runs up, because this is the kind of run Crossroads Racing needed, and no matter what the outcome of this race is for them, this proves that they belong in the Superstar Series.
Yeah, granted, we aren't the greatest team out there, and we're not at the top of the totem pole in Chevy Camp by any means, but this run, it's early on, but this is why we reached out to Team Duke about getting one of their drivers, and I am very thankful to both Duke and Elijah for this, as he and his fellow debut.
Yeah, that's Ryan Arnold right behind in the 26, doing a fantastic job for Revolution Racing. He missed the field at Daytona with that massive entry list that took place there, but he's made the field today, doing a great job. He's scheduled to run a couple more races for Revolution Racing in a fourth car. But back closer to the front of the field, we've got a side-by-side battle. It was for 7th, now it's for 8th, between Silver Fox and Echo Evans Ross, with Zach Rogers looking to get the 6th spot from Chris Lattimore, and he does so.
Oh, I'd love it if Ironhouse was up there, but yeah, you know, baby steps. But it's nice to see like Silver Fox, Evans Ross, and of course looking at Liam Nolan up here. We're not seeing him on screen at the moment, but there he is at the back. But he's holding on pretty good right now, which, that's got to get some people's attention.
Absolutely, and this would be a career best run for Motor Dash Racing if they could get that 53 car home in the top 5. But as of right now, the top 4 in this race, Martin, Mashburn, Fair, and Sanders starting to pull away from 5th place Liam Nolan. They've got a second gap between the 87 and the 53. 2 Chevys, a Toyota, and a Dodge trying to stake their claim at the front of the field here as we're quickly approaching 1/4 distance.
1/4 distance, and I don't think it'll be too long after that. We'll see the green flag pit stops, pending something doesn't happen, bring out a caution, which, these guys are enjoying their lead, enjoying their gap. They don't want that.
No, but the question remains, who's going to be the first one on pit road? That's going to be a big issue for this race as Rogers gets underneath Nolan for 5th, but it looks like the 53 is able to hold him off. And look at this traffic jam behind the 53, who's starting to become the cork in the bottle, I feel. Because look at the cars from 5th place all the way back to about 14. Even more, back to 18 now, the train from 5th on back.
Yeah, it's looking like that 53 is starting to fall off. It's still a pretty good piece that Camry is, but I feel like once he's out of the way, it's gonna be like when you pop the cork on a champagne bottle. It's just gonna open up the floodgates.
You saw there Miles Mashburn trying to make a move on his teammate Martin, but nothing doing on that occasion. The 66 of course led every lap so far, all 19 of them that we have contested so far. Here comes Fair now to the inside of the 72. One thing I've noticed throughout this race so far is you can attempt to pass on the inside, but if you're on that outside line trying to defend the position, you just get that momentum and you're able to keep it. So passing a little more difficult once the field strings out, but not impossible if you get the right run.
Yeah, you just got to figure out where to go and how to do it, and then make the attempt, like we've seen Fair do many times, including right now. He keeps trying. Mashburn, when he gets a run on Martin, he keeps trying. Sanders is basically this. But right now, these guys keep in 2nd and 3rd keep fighting. That's just allowing J.D. Martin to drive away just by the slightest margin.
Absolutely, Martin's enjoying this battle out front between Mashburn and Fair. I think Mashburn's doing the defensive driving to ensure Roberts Racing 1-2 at the front. And so far, they've been able to hold it. And they've even gotten their 3rd car up into that big pack from 5th on back. Joshua Michaels hanging in there in the 10th position. But as we now look at Liam Nolan trying to hang on to the 5th position, Zach Rogers and Chris Lattimore breathing right down his neck in that battle. And then you've got Evans Ross, Silver Fox, Michaels, like I said earlier. Nick Ortiz is lurking just outside the top 10. These are all cars that are hoping for a good day to either boost themselves up the points or keep their early season momentum going. As Mashburn tried another move for the lead, but Martin's got the outside cover.
I feel like this is what we're going to see for a little bit now, especially as deep into this run we are. The good off of those tires is starting to really wear down and is probably pretty much gone. So any move that's going to be made would have to require maybe the slightest slip up from whoever any of these guys tries to pass.
And you see now they're starting to string out single file more spread out now, and I think they're just going to try and ride it out to the pit stop sequence, which shouldn't be too far away from now. As especially now that we're entering the pit window on lap 25. But we expect this to be a two-stop race, and if that's the case, these guys are going to have to go a little further than 25 laps to try and make it on 2. Because if you pit on lap 25 and again on lap 50, you're going to have to pit again on lap 75, and that's a 3-stop race, which is not what any of these guys want. They want to extend this stint a little further as Mashburn tries to make a move, but again, nothing doing.
He didn't even get to the inside this time. And talking about the back of the pit stop subject there for a minute. Yeah, a three-stop race is definitely no bueno. You have to make 3 stops. You might as well just count on finishing in the back. You know how things play out.
Oh, we've got a taker on pit road, and it is the 51 of Devin Fair from 3rd place, making the trip down pit road. We'll see if anyone comes with him. Mark Davey tried to stay out, but it looks like he got turned onto the pit lane by somebody back there, so Davey commits to a pit stop here. AJ Jones, Zachary DeLello also coming in, but that was a dangerous move by Mark Davey, or maybe the move was made for him. He might get a penalty for that, as Mashburn and Martin now hit the pit lane.
Yeah, and that gives Leighton Sanders a chance to lead a lap, and Evans Ross staying out. Nolan comes in, and pretty much everybody but Sanders so far that hasn't already pit coming in.
Feeding time at the zoo here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway as the majority of the field comes in on lap 27. Lane Sanders looks like he stayed out on the racetrack. Echo Evans Ross stayed out. Duke Ansack, Julio Caesar, a few others stay on the racetrack now to try and gain a little bit of time. But it looks like most of the field is in this lap. As you see in the background, Sanders now hitting pit road. But we will see what happens coming out of the pits, because it looks like the front 2 are going to come out together, and they will. But Mark Davey, you see him exiting the pits, and that's going to cost him at least a lap.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I honestly think, yeah, like you just said, he probably had some help, which forced him to commit to pit road, and I feel like the worst case scenario for him is he's already being penalized by ending up a lap down from that, and that's the officials either, to my knowledge.
But one thing that did happen on that cycle of pit stops, as you see the rest of the field now pit, is Devin Fair has gotten his way past Miles Mashburn in the 72 to move up into the 2nd spot. So Fair, by pitting a lap earlier, got the jump on Miles Mashburn and is now up into 2nd place. Sanders now exits the pits. It looks like he'll hang on to his 4th position after leading a lap, getting a bonus point. And Liam Nolan's now all over the back of Lane Sanders to try and get that 4th spot away. Strong effort by the driver of the 53.
He's got a lot of good things coming for him. I feel like that this run.
Oh, we got a smoker. I hate to interrupt us. We got a blown engine on the infield, and that looks to be Ricky Freeman Jr. in the 96. Man, he has had a terrible start to 2024. Missed the first 3 races due to suspension. Had some crash damage at Austin last time out, and now a blown engine to boot at Las Vegas to put an end to his day. That is a very tough break for the 96.
Yeah, and it's even worse considering he didn't have a very good starting position either. He started 33rd, and I think he's just going to be glad to get out of here at this rate.
We'll see if that's enough to keep, if that does it for the 96 to keep him in the top 30 going to Silverstone. That could be a big problem. But you see Zachary DeLello on the flip side of that. He gained a ton of spots on pit road, now running in the top 10 in the 8th position. So strong stuff from the 08, getting the early jump on pit road, as it looks like Mashburn now getting underneath the 51 of Fair. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to make the move stick. As we get, oh, Ironhouse flat tire on the 1.
Yeah, again, as a team owner, you hate to see it, but it's a part of it. Well, that might make some advantage toward the end. Of the race. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, that. After just getting fresh tires, you have to wonder if maybe something from the Freeman machine didn't drop out there and cut that tire.
Either way, that is going to drop the 1 at least 2 laps off the pace, as you see the 97 go past. So Elijah Ironhouse, that flat tire undoing what was looking to be a really positive outing for Crossroads Racing. But that shouldn't be an indicator of performance. That this team was doing a really good job out there up until that flat.
Yeah, I'm proud of those that work in the shops. It's like any other race team, any other race. When things go wrong, you keep on keeping on, and things will all work out eventually.
So Ironhouse rejoins the race in 41st position, 2 laps down. We'll see if any cautions come out to help him get back on the lead lap, or at least one of those laps back at any rate. But you see Mark Davey has passed him to take over the 40th spot. And Ironhouse just now getting back up to speed. He took right side tires on that pit stop to keep him from going a 3rd lap down. So good, smart moves from the Crossroads team to get him back out without losing another lap. But as things run right now, we got 39 on the lead lap, 41 still running with the 96 done for the day.
Yeah, that's gonna be real tough pill to swallow for RFJ. But back up toward the front, I don't think JD Martin is having any trouble whatsoever at this point.
No, but if for our second round of pit stops, which is coming up in like 15-20 laps time, if that 51 gets into the pits in and out first again, that very well could get him the lead of this race, because now they're only half a second behind the 66 machine. So I would expect, if Devin Fair is going to have any hope of winning this race, he has got to come in before JD Martin and just eke out the tires on that final stint to make this race his. But we still got a lot of racing to go. We're only just now closing in on halfway.
Yeah, a lot can happen in that time frame. So, and looking at how the top 10 is shaping up, I'm really still liking the run out of Liam Nolan. Of course, Chris Allen, here, Echo and Ross, all having days that they really wanted and needed.
And DeLello also, through pit strategy, is up into the top 10 in 8th place. He might lose that spot to Echo Evans-Ross in a moment. But how about Brian Arnold? In his first career start in the Superstar Series, he currently holds the fastest lap of the race. So that'll be, not that he needs a bonus point because he's not racing for a championship here, but that's still a very good feather in the cap to have on your first series start.
Yeah, it's a noteworthy thing to know that you've got a fast car. Is a little bit of contact there between these two.
Yeah, Mashburn was leaning on Devin Fair going into that corner. That could have been really bad if they had gone up the track just a little bit further. But so far, they're able to keep it straight once again. They're able to hold on, but I would expect they'd lose a little bit of time to JD Martin in that exchange.
I would imagine Fair's probably wanting to know what was going on with the 72 to cause that, but Mashburn looking for any way to get by to make it Roberts Racing 1-2 once again, which, speaking of Roberts Racing, I know Joshua Michaels is not top 10 at the moment, but that happens when it comes to green flag pit stops sometimes. You win some and you lose some on strategies.
Absolutely, that is the case. As you see Nolan closing in on Lane Sanders now, trying to get that 4th spot away. They are now 3 seconds off the lead, as Mashburn and Fair start to fall a little further behind, but I would expect that these guys might just be saving their stuff for the end of the run, maybe making a charge at Martin later on. But we've run caution-free the first half of this race, a very good sign for the new package at Las Vegas, because in races past here, we'd have cautions all the time, and we've had some pretty scary accidents as well, but they're keeping it pretty clean today, and I'm glad to see it.
We've had some pretty rough crashes altogether this season so far, so having a calmer race like this is certainly something that a lot of people are happy for. If all we have to worry about is people ending up out of the race because of a mechanical issue, then I think that's definitely a good day in many regards.
Of course, we say a pretty calm race. They're reaching speeds of up to 206 miles per hour going into turn 1, but keeping all the cars pointed in the right direction, that is what you want to see here at Las Vegas, as we got a side-by-side battle here for the 6th position between the Chevrolet of Lattimore and the Dodge of James Silverfox.
bow tie is outperforming the Dodge, but you know, one of these times somebody's going to figure out how to make that inside work, and it could end up being a move that gets them a career best finish in the case of someone like Lattimore or Nolan.
Yeah, if Lattimore wants to get a career best finish, he's going to have to get up into that top 5 because he did finish 4th at Atlanta last year. That is currently the best finish he currently has in his possession. But back at the front of the field, J.D. Martin continuing to stretch his legs out front. He's led all but 2 laps so far in this race, and those were only due to green flag pit stops when Lane Sanders led those 2. But Martin's doing a great job, and we've seen this time and time again from J.D. He leads a ton of laps in the series. He dominates races, but he just can't quite find the key to victory lane. It's been a while since he last won a race, but could this be the day for him?
Oh, and wouldn't that be a great thing for him? We talked about his point situation right now, especially with the car. That's a win would definitely put those worries to rest, especially given how rough of a start to the season he's been having.
And consider his start in the Truck Series. He made 2 starts in the Truck Series to start the season, and he won one of those at the Auto Club. So he has not forgotten how to win races. It's just been a long time for him in the Superstar Series where he should be running full time because he's got the talent to do so. The problem is, and a big problem here, we've got another car detonating the motor, and it's Sam Donotto in the 77. He'll be our second retiree of the race.
And he had a horrible qualifying effort too, just like Ricky Freeman Jr. So a bad start to the day, has a bad end for 2 different drivers today, which is very unfortunate. But you know, like I said, these things do happen.
Yeah, and that should move up the lap down cars at least to have a slightly better finishing position, as now Martin cycling lap 49 to complete it. We're closing in on the end of this race, and Martin has put on a clinic today. But Fair and Mashburn have kept him honest all day long. It'll be interesting to see if either of them can mount a challenge, maybe either after the final stops are completed or if they can close in on him here.
Well, we're going to find out, aren't we? Because this 66 has just been... Well, he hasn't been able to make it to his own zip code yet, but because Fair and Mashburn, he's been able to get out ahead of him, but they just keep working back there, reminding him, hey, we can still catch you.
But I don't think Mashburn wants Fair to catch Martin. He's got to be trying everything he can to make gains, get around the 51 to try and hold him off a little bit, but that's not happening so far. It's going to be interesting to see how that shapes out the rest of the race, though, because now we have only 30 laps to go.
30 to go, and that's going to be a long time for JD because, well, when you're in a situation like this, it doesn't matter if you've never won or if you've won multiple times. If you're going for a victory and you have a dominant car, no matter how many laps are left, it's going to feel like an eternity.
But I think now we're in that window where you can make it to the end of the race from here on one more pit stop. So the window is open for people to start coming in. We have 29 laps to go. I would expect in the next maybe 2 to 3 laps people would start pitting to make it to the end, because the window is about 26 to 29. And let's see, is Martin going to be the first one on the pit road? He is. He's preventing Fair from getting an undercut off.
And Mashburn's staying on the same strategy he had before. It's just he's not going to have his teammate with him this time.
Yeah, and it looks like DeLillo's coming in with him to stick with the early strategy that got him a lot of track position early on. See if anyone else is coming into the pits with him. A.J. Jones again, Roberto Crown Jr. hitting the pit lane, but looks like everybody else, and Zach Rogers as well. He had a slow stop on the opening cycle. He's coming in as well, and here comes Fair to the pits with Mashburn staying on the racetrack to lead a lap for Robbers.
And Sanders coming in, Lattimore, Duke Anthony staying out, several others.
Oh, Silver Fox, here we go. Oh, this is good. This isn't going to be good for the 9.
Yeah, that is weird.
That's going to be a penalty for sure for the 9. If it wasn't for speeding on pit road, it was definitely for a commitment line violation that's going to keep the 9 in the pits for a long time, and that is a shame because he was having a really good run in that 9 car for Fitzwater Australia Racing, and now he's going to be multiple laps down at the end of this race.
Yeah, and I guarantee as soon as he hears about it, little Fitzy's going to be having some kind of rant and rave, but we'll worry about that later. Right now, J.D. Martin, let's see if his strategy worked out.
Because it looks like Devin Fair is coming out of the pits now. We'll see if he actually got out ahead of the 66. I think he did, because Martin's just now going in the free, and while he does have a full head of steam, I don't think that's going to be enough. I think the overcut just paid dividends for Devin Fair. He's going to be your leader now.
Wouldn't that just figure? JD did what he thought was going to be the better thing, considering what it did for Fair versus Mashburn, and now it looks like it could very well be his undoing.
But the key difference now is Devin Fair is going to be fighting some lap traffic at the end of this race as we enter the final 25 laps, and that is going to be a big factor, although, of course, Martin's going to have to deal with it as well. But depending on who gets through the traffic the best, that could decide the outcome of this race.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting thing. We know how fun lap traffic can be for the leaders, so if that's what causes Fair to not win this race and gives J.D. Martin the win he's in need of, then, well, I don't know, we got to wait and see how this cycles out, which, excuse me, I think, yeah, the pit cycle's starting to wrap up here.
Yeah, Zachary Fitzwater stayed out to lead a lap, but now he has made his green flag pit stop as well. We'll drop him back out of the top 10. But notice Liam Nolan has gotten past Lane Sanders to move up into the 4th position. That would be a career best finish for the driver of the 53. If he can hang on to that, that would be fantastic. And you see Silver Fox still on pit road. Maybe his trip through the grass damaged the underside of that car or something.
Which is an unfortunate thing to have said. But it's not going to be something to really be complaining about all week long, and just be ready to move on and get ready for the next race. But moving up right here, so we talk about Nolan. He's after Mashburn now. He might be looking to make it even better for his career best.
Yeah, but he's got to figure out what to do with Mark Davey as well, because this 97, although he is a lap down, is still keeping pace with the leaders, and he's actually going to get his way past Liam Nolan in the 53. So that's not for position, of course. Mark Davey currently, I believe, in 37th position. And look at the fastest lap. Ryan Arnold had it for a while, but now Jeff Bolton, by a couple hundredths, takes over the point, and he definitely needs a good points haul.
Yeah, we keep harping about how many people need a good points payday.
Not everyone can get them, though, is the thing.
Exactly. That's the tough part about racing, in especially in the Superstar Series. You have a few rough starts to the season, and then usually by that point the early season favorites are the ones that are up in front where they want to be and where they need to be, and you're stuck trying to climb out of that hole you got dug into.
But no matter what the point situation looks like at the end of this race, we only have 20 laps to go to decide a winner here at Las Vegas, and Devin Fair's lead is now 2.5 seconds between himself and J.D. Martin. We'll see if it went down though by 0.2. If if Devin Fair rather gets held up behind this 5 car for much longer, that could allow Martin to close the gap again, because he's only about a half a straightaway behind.
Yeah, and for Martin, it's a matter of getting by the lap traffic he's got right there. And then, of course, if neither of these guys can do it, then Martin could be at risk of losing positions to maybe even Nolan.
Although I noticed Nolan has dropped off Mashburn a little bit, maybe to try and save his stuff for the end. But we're in the final 20. Devin Fair doing a fantastic job. He made the pit stop a lap later than JD, which common knowledge says is a slower way to do it, but the racing gods have shined down on Devin Fair today. He is currently out in front at Las Vegas with a 2.3-second lead. Let's see if he can hold on to it.
Well, right now, J.D. Martin's not really chipping into it very much, so you don't have to worry all that much right now, especially with lap traffic between the two of them. But this 5-car of Austin Runkle, if you don't get out of the way soon, and if Martin can get by that other lap traffic, it could be on by the end of this thing.
We'll see what the margin is at the line. It hasn't changed much again. They're both being held up equally by the lap traffic they are dealing with. Fair's got Runkle right in front of him, and Martin's got Daniel Bouchard and Stephen Gale to contend with. So maybe the odds are in the favor of the 51 to win this race. Devin Fair, of course, looking for the first win of this season for his title defense, and we said it at the top of the show, this could be a great place for him to get it. He's had some rough luck here at Las Vegas before, but this would be a great way to kickstart his season.
It would definitely be a great way to get it going even further, as you see, I think Martin's still not able to get by Bouchard.
He did gain a couple tenths on that lap.
That's good, but it's not good enough. The laps are winding down quickly here. I mean, it's not a small track by any means, but it's also not. This ain't Road America or Daytona or Talladega.
No, but he did just gain another 0.4 of a second on that lap, so that's 7 tenths in the last 2 laps. J.D. Martin is going places, and he would hate to have this be another one that slips through his fingers as he tries to go by Bouchard, but he has to let off to make the corner, and that is not going to help his at all.
No. Bouchard may not have a quick car, but he's certainly got one that's quick enough to hold off Martin, even though it's not for position. And we've seen the effects of that.
Oh, and we got another smoker on the apron, and it looks like that's Zachary Fitzwater in the 59. It is the 59. Fitzwater, who's led a lap in this race to get a bonus point. Boy, is he going to need it now, because he is going to be out of this race, our 3rd retiree and our 3rd mechanical failure of the afternoon.
Yeah, from bad to worse for Fitzwater Australia Racing, as with what happened to Silver Fox and are now the boss man of the team. That's just unfortunate.
A bit of an unraveling of the day as well for Fingai Saitomi Motorsports. Dillon Young is the next car up to get lapped by the 51. As you see Martin trying to get past Bouchard again. Jeffrey Fingai's only a couple cars ahead of Young. Really, the cars that might have a shot at a good day for the FPM bunch are the part-timer Ryan Griffin and maybe Patrick Smith if he can get up there.
Yeah, it's a rough outing for Fingai and his team.
Especially since they entered this race 1-2 in the points.
Yeah, it's even rougher when you think about that. But what's really rough is the fact that Fair's trying to find any way to get by Runkle, but he's probably not applying too much pressure because he's being told that as we've hit 10 to go now, he's not losing too much of a distance, although Martin did just cut a little bit more out of it.
It's down to 1.5 seconds, and it looks like with Miles Mashburn 4 seconds off the lead, it's going to be between these two to settle it, with coming to 9 laps to go here at Vegas. But Devin Fair, no matter who, if Fair or Martin wins this race, either one is going to be deserving of this win because they've both put on very solid drives today. But if Martin does not end up winning this race, you've got to feel for him. He'll have led 50 laps of this race, only for it to slip away in the remaining 30.
Yeah, I've been in the broadcast booth for several of those instances, but I've seen it with other drivers too. It's just so disheartening when you have that happen.
But I would expect the 66 to rebound even stronger in a few weeks at Silverstone when Up returns to the UK. It's going to be a lot of fun to see what he can do there. But it's not over yet. Martin's still got a 1.5 seconds to make up and 2 lap cars to get by. But Fair is not making as much inroads on this 5 car as I expected him to.
Nah, Runkle just doing what he needs to do to keep on the lead lap, but that's saving everybody ahead of him. Not that that's what he's doing it for, but he's just doing what he needs to do, and that's all it's going to take, I think, to keep Fair. Although he might have a shot here, maybe.
Well, keep in mind, Runkle is the last car in the lead lap, and he really wants to stay there in the event of something crazy happening at the end of this race, as Martin's now fallen back to 2 seconds behind. I think we're getting close to that point of no return where the next flag would end the race. So for Devin Fair, he just really wants to make these last few laps count, as we now have 6 to go.
6 to go. Yeah, you're right. We are very close to no return territory, and it's gonna get to that point where it doesn't matter what happens. The caution goes out, race is over. But right now, it's not over until the checkered flag waves, which that ain't much longer.
Especially now that we only have 5 trips around Las Vegas Motor Speedway to make. And Martin did close the gap again. It's down to 1.8, but I think his time has run out because Devin Fair, actually, come to think of it, he's got something else to worry about now. Stephen Gale has closed the gap between himself and Devin Fair and is now right on the back bumper at a 51. Could this play a factor in deciding the outcome?
Well, that's hard to say, but we'll find out. As Martin's position stayed about the same, which pending Gale doing something drastic to mess with Fair here, I think this is Fair's race to lose at this point.
We're coming to 3 laps to go. Gale tried to move on Devin Fair there, but I don't think it's going to be much of an effort because Gale, he knows he's not going to win this race. He knows he's a lap down. I don't think he thinks he's going to bring it home in one piece for the moment. But Devin Fair now, only 2.5 laps to go. This could be a really big day for his title defense.
It could be. Looking at the rest of the top 10 here, just real quickly, Lane Sanders has gotten back by Liam Nolan for 4th spot, which still a career day for Nolan if he can hang on to 5th. And Chris Lattimore got passed by Christian Vargas. There's Duke Ainsley. We haven't really talked much about him except my appreciation for him loaning one of his drivers for my team, but he's going to get a good run out of this if he can stay in 10th place right there.
We're coming to the white flag this time. Fantastic run from everyone in the top 10. But I think it's going to be too little too late for J.D. Martin as Devin Fair now comes to take the white flag. We've got 1 lap to go from Las Vegas.
Yeah, 2.2 seconds. I think something drastic on this last, 2.6 now. And without something drastic happening to Fair right now, it's not going to happen for Martin, which, we talked about it already, you got to feel for him on that one.
But coming for 3 and 4 for the final time, it is going to be Devin Fair getting his 6th career win in the 1UP Superstar Series and his 1st at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Great job from Devin Fair to maximize his strategy, getting it all right. He gets his 6th career win. That puts him into a tie for 4th on the all-time win list, only behind Stephen Hunter, Jared Polanski, and the tie at the top between Vargas and Fingay at 12. But super effort from J.D. Martin. He came up just a little bit short today, but he'll be back in full force at Silverstone. I'm sure he comes home 2nd. Miles Mashburn brings it home 3rd to bring it 2-3 for Robbers Racing. Liam Nolan did hold off Lane Sanders at the end for a career-best 4th place for the 53. That's excellent stuff for Moto Dash Racing. That's the run they've been looking for this whole time. Sanders comes home 5th ahead of Echo Evans Ross. Best result of the season for her in 6th ahead of Vargas 7th. Chris Lattimore 8th. Duke Ansack brings it home just inside the top 10 with Nick Ortiz 9th. A few spots ahead of Zachary DeLello in 11th place. But incredible race from Las Vegas, and we kept it clean the entire day. No cautions at all this time around.
It's not very often you get that in this series. We've even had cautions for minor things before, but this is nice to have a good, clean race with a lot of action, a lot of attempts to pass at least. But honestly, J.D. Martin's day is coming. This was Fair's day, despite the early dominance for the 66. Martin's got one. Actually, I think he's got more than one coming this season. And I'm looking forward to seeing it and being here for it.
Absolutely. So, from James Ellison and from myself as well, we say so long from Las Vegas. The next time we see you will be across the Atlantic at Silverstone for One-Up's return to the UK and One-Up in the Superstar Series' first standing start event. It's going to be an absolute thrill to bring you that race from that historic circuit in Britain. We look forward to seeing what the Superstars can do out there. But for now, so long from Las Vegas. We'll see you again at Silverstone. Congratulations to Devin Fair for a fantastic win. And you're right, JD Martin's win, it's going to be coming one of these days. I guarantee it.